Hello everybody and welcome back again to the World Star Battle Tournament number 2. And we're going to be casting the semi-final match versus Team 21-0 versus the Red Lions, or just Lions as they're known now. This is Artemis, and with me I have Bozo Cat again, my illustrious co-caster.
Greetings!
Yes. And we're all set and we're all pumped for this match that is going to be... So we've been Bozo and I have been jumping around casting all these different games. We did catch one game with the Lions earlier, and I did hear from someone that that there's going to be a bit of a grudge between these two teams, dating back to TSL. So we are going to be seeing how this plays out. All right. So spawning in the bottom, we have Evil Source Night Star. Team 21-0 with Loco as a 5 armor Destro, Night Star 4/3 carrier, first 4/3 carrier I've seen today. Brumpera, Plague Overlord, double 5 Spine Guardian, and a Leviathan at the top with Constitution. From the top we have a double Destro, double 5 armor Destro, a 5/1 carrier. I've never seen that before, and 6-int carrier. Stifler as a 4/10 Constitution Levy, and Admin 6 with the Elite Levy skin from TSL as a Levy on the outside lane. Guys, let's enjoy this for a sec. Awesome. Because you don't see them that often. Initial push, a 4-ship push on the top lane against Evil Source. That's definitely gonna hurt Evil Source's initial farming. Bit bunched up aside. The Leviathans in the bottom are basically left alone against Night Star. Now Night Star only is a 4/3, not going to be as effective. Usually you try to have a 6/0 carrier against the Levy in the bottom lane. And I find this 5 interceptor opening interesting for Game Good. Yes, they're very famous. Rebellions is the famous destroyer who can jump in and just pull a lot of... He pulls a lot of weight. He's been around for a long time, and when he's helming as a destroyer, yeah, watch out. Initial farm biased a little bit more now towards the Lions than this initial counter. Team 21 pushed back to a third of the way across or so. Very, very bossy. Admin 6, 7/10s, just got a range upgrade and just starting to go into bile. Stifler is gone at the top, has gone into armor. Sorry for the stutter. And we've got Evil Source just sitting on a little bit of mineral, starting to get upgrades to his range. Darkhand's getting hurt quite badly by these launches in the orange and having to pull back. Yeah, Stifler's gonna have a chance to catch up, because if you have a strong middle, the sides will benefit as well. A side lane chip cannot stay on its own, but when its team pushes in the center, then it can push ahead. Yeah, I'm surprised these guys. There are plagues, but they got double plague. They're in the orange now versus a single Destro. Usually Destros, they should try to rotate out. They should try to rotate out so one is, when one depletes its shields, the other one comes in. That's the advantage of the 2 Destro open. Oh yes, Kerberos is one of the spectators here, by the way. And guess what, guys? It's Kerberos' birthday, so happy birthday, Kerberos. It's a tournament. Get some sleep. Get some sleep after this. We've got some star battle to do.
Lions upgrading, they can both afford bots. This next push is going to be very nasty, and we can see 21Z already withdrawing in anticipation of that. European teams tend to be a lot more cautious than NA teams.
Rebellion's warping in on the top now. And just his presence is pushing back the rest of 21. Now he's got his Gats on Shanks. Other Destro warped in. Bots on both. And now they'll be able to rotate out and really heal, and then they could stay in the field for a very long time. Evil Source and Stifler still dueling it out the top. Stifler's already got his 5 bile and 9 range. Stifler, Evil Source just has his 1. Yes, I agree. Well, it's helped by the fact that they have 2 carriers which can launch, which is sort of a long distance pushing mechanism. But the Destros did take a lot of damage right at the start. The problem is if they stay sort of further back, it's hard for Rump to get those plagues off. Bozo, do you want to talk a bit about pressure? Because it's a concept that you've brought up in the forums a couple of times. Do you want to talk to that?
Yeah, those posts, of course, were only in the Eclipsis forum, so
oh,
sorry,
true,
guys.
yeah.
Starting from scratch for those of you who don't read those. So the basic concept of pressure is you're taking a series of actions, and the result of those actions are that the enemy has a choice. They either go back to their base and heal up, or they die. That's pressure. So, for instance, when you're kiting somebody and you have superior range, they can keep fighting you, at which point they'll take damage and you won't, and eventually they will die and you won't. Another example is if Biome were to run up on Darkenstein here with his superior armor, Biome would be doing more damage than Darkenstein would be doing back, and so eventually Darkenstein would have to break off and go home, or he would die to the superior DPS before Biome would die to the inferior DPS. That's pressure. You want to exert pressure because that makes the enemy decide to go home so that they can get in a situation where they're exerting pressure. They want to go home, buy their upgrades, or they just want to heal. And when you're closer to the base, the farm spawns more rapidly, and that gets your team an economic advantage. That's pressure.
Fear, mineral pressure, and just fear of dying. It's a good skill, though, being scared to die. That it helps in pubs.
One of the best kinds of pressure is the fear of the warp trick. Your guys can be out upgrading, healing, doing whatever they want. Just one ship acts as a proxy for your entire team, and the whole enemy team has to run from your one ship. It's a wonderful thing to have available to you as a tool, and that's why warp tricks are so popular in organized play.
Well, I remember when I was, I don't know, it was like maybe a year ago or something like that, and I was sort of really getting into the competitive scene, and I was a Leviathan side lane, and I was told, oh yeah, go up and set up for warp trick, or just, you know, get out there on the side lane. And then I start to sneak around. They're like, no, don't sneak around. Make sure the farm sees you. Because the whole point was to scare off the other team, because they pulled back because they were worried they'd warped me. So that always stuck.
An excellent play by Rumperita, catching the entire launch as well as Rebellions. That was very stylish.
Yeah. But we're in the semifinals, folks, so you're going to be seeing better and better play as we go along. And what's going to be awesome is we're going to have an EU versus NA Grand Finals. It's just a case of who's going to represent each server. So let's take a look. We have Dark Ants and Loco applying pressure on Rebellions, but Rebellions could just trade off with Biome. Eventually, once Biome gets a chance to heal up. Rumpera's got a little bit more energy and lasers. Dark Ants went spines. Loco went bots. Shanks went starting to get broodlings. And Evil Source is already at 6 missiles and 10 range. Both Leviathans up here are 10 range. And really, when you're a Leviathan, it's the war of the range and the speed. You can't really afford to fall behind the person in your side lane. Now, Rebellions is coming down to the bottom lane. Just pushing back Nightstar. Admin 6 at 1110, 7 bile. The extra 10's meant to counteract the ints. Evil Source hasn't invested as much into 10's because it's been launched as much except for now. Oh, Rebellion is sort of cutting up against Loco. Not directly applying damage. Now he's got his Gats on him. But again, they're pulling back because they're worried about a plague. Plague hit Biome. And that's the problem. The two Destros can't quite bunch up because for fear of the peg from the Overlord. Loco and Shanks applying pressure on Stifler. Nice coordinating launching by Acheron and damn good. Aside from plagues, there is no DPS AoE against launches yet unless Evil Source gets acid spray. So why not? Why not do a very coordinated launch? Rebellions has protective field. Haven't really seen him use it yet. And again, more coordinated launches and the pushes, and this is pushing Team 21 back. Let's take a look at the farm, folks. 6-6 still. We've got 1,369 farm for Team 21-0, and just now 1,600 farm for the Lions. So we've got, no, not quite a 300 farm lead, 200 farm lead. Now, big pullback by Team 21. Shanks is going around the outside, going to provide a warp point. Now, not visible. Now he's seen. The Lions know he's there. Rebellion's instead warping out rather than walking back. Admin 6 staying and catching that huge cloud of farm. I imagine Admin 6 will go back for rapid regen on this back. He's got almost 400. The two carriers, the Lions, are going back now. So many Leviathans. So hard to keep track. Rum's going down to sort of the bottom lane assisting. Nightstars haven't really felt Nightstar, except Nightstar's been holding Admin 6 back and launching. Nightstar just trying to farm it up on the outside and stifle the levy, in a sense. Lions warping in a bit more staggered coming up now from the top, but not really trying to push for a kill. Everyone, Team 21 is rather pulled back. No one's caught behind. But this is a strong push. Push here with Contaminate. Rumpera comes up with Contaminate, caught both the Destroyer and the Levy. Shanks going for a mix of spines and broods. Longer range and shorter range. Attacks now. Bombardment on Loco. Loco's going to be forced to pull back.
That was a strike cannons, actually.
Oh,
They're
okay.
not using bombardment because they don't want to splash the interceptors.
Yes, you're right. More targeted. Basically bombardment, but it won't hit your own guys. And it's not area effect.
Less damage, longer range. There's a variety of trade-offs.
Yep. Acheron, 11-inch, 12-inch. But quick launch on both these carriers. Now I prefer warp-in to quick launch. There's an advantage to quick launch. I mean, it is what it says, but warp-in you're able to actually have a higher DPS overall because you're able to get more interceptors over the span of a couple minutes.
I believe the reason that quick launch was chosen was because the type of countering to the interceptors was a rapid-firing weapon, at which point you want them to get out there and do their damage
all at once,
rather than get splashed.
Yep.
However, I agree that warping would probably be a little better. It just puts more hit points out there in order to... It just puts more hit points out there for farm to basically.
It's not like the destroyers can't launch two to tank for the interceptors too. I mean, the race, they're not upgraded. They would die very quickly, but you could also do that. Or aggro the lasers.
So, warp-in interceptors creates one interceptor every 3 seconds. Your natural regen rate of interceptors is one interceptor every 4 seconds. So long as you have the energy to power it, warp-in interceptors more than doubles. It's actually more like a 133% increase in your rate of interceptor generation, and that's a big deal.
Yep, because interceptors do a lot of damage. There's a reason why a lot of carriers go interceptor build. They scale nicely.
They do scale nicely. Without any quantity upgrades, interceptors scale about like lasers, and then sorry, that's not true. Without any quantity upgrades, they scale like missiles, and then as you upgrade them, you get 2 at a time, and it starts to scale more like lasers.
Yep. Oh, local caught here in a strike cannon and a launch. Getting pushed on admin 6, cutting up. Just applying pressure. Not actually trying to go in for a kill because the rest of the team was there.
Contaminate denies admin 6's major source of damage, and then they launch on him to take advantage of his slow firing jets.
Yep, it's a good call.
Very good 1-2 punch.
1-2. Well, it's like Tech's nuke. 1-2. They work. And now Tech's Side Blast, which is also super effective.
I was very impressed with that Tech Side Blast game that we casted. I want to see that more.
Now we got 21 pulling back to regroup. Let's do a quick farm check. It's been a little while. 6-6 thanks to the Rumper. I can't pronounce it. I just say rump. Rumper, whatever.
We could just call him the guy who's boom boom all the time.
That too.
That's his trademark soundbite. It's awesome.
2,000 farm for Team 21 and 2,370 farm for the Lions. So Lions pulling, sort of the same, but 300 farm lead, pulling ahead slowly. But they are very good at pushing without the pressure. But this is the core of this team has gone to the grand finals of a lot of tournaments. I mean, there's been changes to the roster over time, but overall the footing is still there.
Purple on this map.
Yep, that's for sure. Well, actually, I'm not showing those team colors. There we go. Now you can see. See all the purple and see all the yellow. Then, of course, you have the elite levy skin, you have the elite carrier, and so on and so forth. I could stick on the elite colors for a while. Shakes things up. Alright, Lions coming back out now. Actually, I'll do the 21 upgrades. 21, 9 broods on Shanks, 11 needle spine. Dark Hint's got Scourge. The Overlord now has Siphon. Siphon and a little bit more energy. Evil Source now has a Frenzy, but not strong. It's 11 tenths, 7 bile. Stifler has went for 12 bile and 11 tenths, but looks like he could be saving up for Frenzy as well. The 2 carriers of the Lions now have 13 Warp In and 13 interceptors each. And double strike cannons, double protective field on the Destros. Loco instead has bombardment, which is good for the interceptors for counting those launches, and the protective field. Admin 6 looking very fat right now. 15 tenths, 11 bile, 5 armor, and has been purchasing into health upgrades. So he's doing quite fine for himself. Though notably doesn't have Frenzy yet, but he's also saving up for it. Admin 6, yes, and rapid regen. Strike cannons on Loco. I think Loco's actually been holding up fairly well against 2 Destros, but that just really hurt. He's sort of constantly in the yellow. Plague on Damn Good. Really again, it's no big giant pushes, no big brawling moments. It's just sort of that pushing back and forth and just applying damage over time that's interesting. Now the farm gap's widening a little bit over 400 now. Just a slow and steady advantage gained by the Lions, and Team 21's going to have to start to figure out how to turn this around.
It's no coincidence that this containment is happening when both carriers now have weapon interceptors. Meanwhile, Shanks has not advanced past one shot, and he has put a lot into broodlings, which do almost no damage to the Destros. He's basically saying, I am willing to concede getting contained now to have strong broodlords later. And I'm not sure I agree with that decision.
It's risky.
Darkenstein is doing something I agree with a lot more, which is he's gone Scourge, against which there are no counters on the board right now.
Yeah, double Scourge would have actually been really good. Well, it would have forced Leviathans maybe to get Acid Spray, but that means they would have had to focus on getting energy. Right now they do have some, but it would have slowed them down a little bit. Yep, I agree. Yep, this is the chance 21Z should be taking.
So I think what Kerberos is saying is 21Z needs to damage one of the lions enough to send him back and make a 5v6 fight, otherwise they're going to get contained again.
Yep. And you can just tell that's happening slowly again.
You can see Evil Source is trying to do that against Stifler, but Stifler also has Frenzy. And so unless Moon cuts up and tries to help him with that one-on-one battle, it's not going to happen.
We now have level 14 Ints, more energy on both on Acheron, and a little bit of shields and lasers just for general durability and farming. And 17 on Damn Good. More strike cannons on Loco, just trying to pop the protective field as often as he can. Though he is actually rather... Though he's not getting the most amount of farm, just because he keeps getting launched on strike cannon and bombarded. So let's take a quick look at the farm. Thanks to the Evil Source camera, brought to you by Evil Source. 2,650 farm for 21 and 3,050 farm for the Lions, so 500 farm lead, basically increasing by a farm lead of 100 every time they keep pushing them back.
Part of the problem is 21Z knows that they have less DPS, and so they can't Warp Trick. And that means they have to claw their way out of the base as a group. And unfortunately, their coordination just isn't good enough to do that. We now see Nightstar sneaking around the side, possibly to set up a Warp Trick. Lions are backing off. I think this is a fake turn, and they're going to come back and attack again once they determine that it's not a genuine Warp Trick. They've got Dual Frenzy almost available. Oh, Rebel warps out? I guess not.
Now, what have we got here? Darkant's warping in on Nightstar and joined by Shanks. Joined by Shanks here. Big ball of 4 balled up at the bottom for 21. And we get a battle more on the bottom side of the map. Yeah, those 11 Broodlings are going to start to take their effect. Broodling Strike is 53 damage at this point.
There's an interesting bug. Those initial impacts actually only do 20 due to a bug in the map. But then they nibble for quite a bit of damage. So it's a reasonable reflection of how much damage it does, but it's not system accurate.
Yeah, you can't actually count it.
That was the case last time I tested it. I reported it as a bug to Zedu, and I don't know if he's fixed that.
We'll have to figure out. Maybe they get fixed in the beta. Nightstar basically being sort of quiet on the map. Basically just keeping on working on the whatever Leviathans in his lane. Now with level 18 Ints and Warp in as well. Quick launch. So really doing
15 tents and 4 plating and regenning for 25-20 a pop is just not intimidated by those launches.
Nope.
Darkent stops to Scourge. That puts him in the hot seat.
And Rebellion's just pushing hard. No, it's not. It's a pushing attempt. And that's really what's going to happen. And I think if I check next time I check the farm, it's going to be another 100 farm in the gap. And if I can prove that right, thank you, Darkens. 2,930 farm for 21, and 3,350 farm for the Lions. So, nope, currently still around 400. But definitely I feel like there's one team that's controlling this map.
Loco's starting to use Bombard to control the launches, which is a great ability to use against launches. Bombardment does 400 damage, which is a lot more against light than most area of effect attacks. And little known hidden mechanic is that interceptors and other launched ships get 3 defense against every AoE attack that's launched at them, except for Acid Spray, against which they get 5 for every upgrade. So, for instance, the level 19 interceptors of Damn Good are reducing every area of effect attack on them by 57 damage, so having a big upfront damage, like 400, is really good.
Yeah, because it's just a burst. Contaminate on Admin 6, again helping to slow him down. 21 cycling back some of their players for upgrades. Though most of them are due. Loco has not had much chance to actually farm. Now it's gone toe-to-toe with Rebellions, but Biome's coming in ready to strike can if necessary.
I noticed Darkenstein has Scourge, but he doesn't have Anabolic Synthesis to back it up, and he's got 350 energy. So that's 6 energy upgrades. Anabolic Synthesis provides as much regeneration of energy as 25 energy upgrades. So while I understand that he doesn't want to get low and get grabbed by one of these levies or launched on and killed, at the same time he's passing up a lot of very, very cheap energy. And he's one of the few sources of DPS on the 21Z team that is really like working right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. And if you're a player that knows the flow of the map and has good map awareness, you can stab yourself with Anabolic Synthesis and not have to worry about it too much. Especially when you still have a tank and another Guardian which can dive in for you. Now here...
This is one of those big differences between EU and NA. In NA, it's totally standard to get Anabolic, and in EU, they play a little safer.
Mm-hmm.
And we're NA commentators, so we're like, what are they doing?
I know, I'm like, okay guys, you're gonna sit down and have a cup of tea now. You know, you can discuss your differences. Bit of a push here on Shanks, but nice bombardment by Loco, cleaning up most of that launch.
It amazes me how far that plague can travel just because of the hang time. Oh, Loco's getting right-clicked with that bile. He's down!
There goes Loco. Just evaporated under 15 and 16 bile. That's the dangerous thing in levies. They just suddenly become very, very deadly.
If you can do that right-click micro, you're basically firing nukes all the time.
Yep. Trying to go... Now, 21 was trying to go for a trade with Rebellions, but were unable to push it through.
I don't understand why Rebellion's turned back in. He was already the lowest. He's turning again. What are you doing, man?
It's Rebellions! He's got... If he's not in the red, he's not doing it right. It's like Begies. He's not in the red, he's not happy.
So.
But it's fun to see these people play other ships, and sometimes they just get to such low health, you think, really? Oh my goodness. What are you doing? You know you could almost die here.
He has E-Shield at this time of the game, but that's just like, why did you take that unnecessary risk? You're winning.
Mm-hmm. But regardless, right now they're still winning, by even a greater degree, and the farm is going to reflect that. Now it's 5-6 for the Lions, 2,950 farm for the Team 21, and 3,700, well, almost 3,800 farm for the Lions. Yeah, that's just crazy. And that's not DP. That's not 1k damages in per second.
No, that's for every 4 seconds. Each time they fire a volley of bile. Although it's actually slightly less. The more little ships you kill, you get a tiny bonus to your weapon firing speed. So, for instance, Stifler here has 4 seconds minus 0.34. So that's like a, it's about a 10% speed boost, which is actually pretty respectable. And part of why having a super highly farmed ship is efficient is because of those weapon speed increases.
Yep, that's the thing. That's the thing with the game mechanics and the balance. But of course, it's all going to change. This is basically going to be the last. This is the last tournament of Old Star Battle, unless there's a big delay with the next version coming out, or something else gets scheduled in between. So enjoy the meta as it is, folks, because it's going to change. Everything you know is about to change. Well, not entirely. We're not going to have ponies flying in space. Ponies flying in space, you know, shooting little rainbows at each other. I know.
I wanted my Yen carrier.
I think that would be an awesome prize for a tournament. You have the neon carrier, and you have the ribbon behind you, and your vortex is in rainbow colors.
That'd be great.
I think people would fight more for that prize than, say, Elite BC or Drop Raven.
Absolutely.
Like rainbow vortex carrier. Zedu, if you're watching, please, this would be so awesome. That would be the ultimate prize, but for now, we have our other cool ones, including the Elite Levy skin, which is proudly displayed by 2 levies here. So again, 21's back at their prisms, but now they have even less ability to push out, because now the Guardians are going to have to become more tanky, unless one of the Leviathans does it. And it looks like Evil Source may step in to do this role. Yeah, Rebellion's is very well set up right now. He's got pretty much all the spells he needs, enough energy to execute them, enough lasers and armor to stay alive and do some damage as well. So he's in a good position. And we have the lag screen. The lag screen of death. Or not. The lag screen said. That's really interesting. Why Biome is he's only got 6 lasers.
On the second back, when we hit 12 minutes, Rebellion up to 7 lasers and had 1 shot for a while. But Biome stayed at 3 shot on that back so that he could keep up with Rebellion's installs, and he's been behind ever since.
Yeah. That's the problem with the trade-off. You have to really decide how much are you going to put into lasers and how much you're going to put into other things. 18 bile, that is going to start to hurt. And unfortunately, 21 doesn't have any means of countering that. Now, a bit of a warp trick on the side, trying to catch them. Nightstar has the shield recharge and vortex. Now, neither of the Reliance carriers has feedback, and they're not in a position to do so. They don't have enough minerals for it. So this would be a good opportunity to try to catch someone, but they'd have to pick their targets very carefully. And here they go. Defensive techs.
Rumpera, who has 600 left due to Boom Boom.
And he's going to need to go straight back. Now, good job on the Team 21's part pushing back the team. Evil Source is frenzied up.
Catches Acheron.
But he made. There he goes.
Nice pickoff by Nightstar. That was very well played.
Yep. Nightstar's been sort of playing a little quiet in the side lane, just building up his interceptors, and there you go. You can't ignore them.
Taking a lot of fire. He's got 7.
Nightstar needs to get in there to try to cover with bombardment. It's not going to make a difference. That could have actually been strike cannons. That was strike cannons. There goes the Guardian.
Turn and try to catch somebody. There's nobody vulnerable. No, it's going to be a double frenzy on Shanks in the bottom lane.
He's going to melt. That's 2 kills right there. 1 kill, 2nd kill, and they're going to push through with the carrier. I'm seeing a lot of aggressive play, right? Like pushing by the towers, going around the towers, warping in behind the towers. Your team just trying to get that last kill. Do you want a 1v1? 1v1 an Overlord. This could be
a little bit of friendly trolling there.
Yeah. But there's the GG. And Rum is going suicide across the map.
The 1v1, something people commonly ask for in pub games when they get beaten.
Yep. So there we have it. The victory screen. It's actually casters always see victory. I like this.
Yeah, we always win. Whatever happens, we get to see a good game of Star Battle.
Yes, casters always win. Unless we say something really silly and then we get 10 messages saying, why on earth did you say that? But
indeed.
Alright, so my thoughts on the game, we sort of were talking about this during the game, but I think 21 was just playing it a little too safe. They were basically just pulling back any time Rebellions came close. It's like the Rebellions effect. But yeah, they just needed to be a little more coordinated, be a little bit more aggressive in certain standpoints. Lions played very well in their case. Besides in the beginning, their Destros were getting a little low on health. Otherwise, they were good at keeping on applying pressure. Your thoughts?
I I would have liked to have seen some warp tricks. Given how conservatively Rebellions plays, I think there was at least a chance that even just threatening warp tricks would have gotten them some more farm and some more map position. And it only takes 1 or 2 fake warp tricks to keep you in the game long enough for your support ship to start paying for itself. They never hit that point. They got contained for too long.
Yep, I agree. And then once you see the farm advantage slide from 200 to 300 to 400, yeah, it's hard to come back from that. And this is a semi-final, so you can't necessarily expect any silly mistakes. People tend not to stop the ship by this point. So that is game 1, folks. This is the Team 21-0 versus Alliance, both EU teams in the semifinals for the World Star Battle Tournament 2. It's Artemis and BozoCat, and we will catch you all for game 2. GG!
GG!